Hi, welcome to Healing Your Receiving Muscle. Now, I'm kind of curious. When you receive something really good in your life, let's say something that's unexpected, like a check in the mail or something good happens to you, what's the first thing you feel? Yeah, you're excited and you're happy. But what happens after the excitement? What's underneath that excitement? For a lot of people, there's this quiet anxiety waiting. When's the other shoe going to drop? When's it going to go wrong? Or for other people, there's guilt. There's a sense that, oh my gosh, I have this much. I took it from somebody else. Or a disbelief like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this great thing just happened. It's too big, it's too bright, it's too shiny. Like they can't believe it happened. Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about your receiving muscle. This anxiety, guilt, or disbelief, it's not a character flaw. It's a survival strategy, and you've outgrown it. So today we're going to understand it, and then we're going to dismantle it. So why does receiving feel dangerous? Well, for most of our history, resources were really scarce. Food or shelter and safety. These things weren't guaranteed. And if you think back 100 years ago, wagon train era, living in the Wild West was very hard. And then we had social groups where if we took more than our share, we'd stand out. And you didn't want to stand out too much because it was dangerous. You'd get shot for having too much. So your abundance made you a target. And for some reason, I don't know why, it got put in our DNA and it's gone down, down, down the line to here we are today. So your nervous system is still carrying those ancient codes from way back in the day. So when large sums of money comes, we go, yay, and your nervous system goes, is this safe? Is it going to make me a target? Is it going to change my relationship? How are people going to treat me? What if I lose belonging to the clan? In today's world, we call that the upper limit. And that's where we've kind of stepped out of our comfort zone and we're going, oh no, this doesn't feel natural. And then our mind and our beliefs will pull us back into the familiar set point. And your system is always trying to find a balance. It pulls you back to what it knows. And this is all about survival. This isn't about one's better than the other. It's just about the survival mechanism that we've been programmed with. And so, what we want to do is expand the state of normal. So, we want to expand the feeling of new familiarity. And so that's part of what we're going to be working on. And so there are three wounds that I have uncovered. And the first one is unworthiness. Now, this one's talked about a lot, but it's a little sneaky because it always doesn't show up as not deserving. Sometimes it shows up as over delivering, like I have to give, give, give. Or you discount your price before anybody's even made an objection. I had a client, she's a bookkeeper, and she's always discounting her price, but they've never asked for the discount. And sometimes it shows up as working really, really hard because if you rested, it was a luxury and you didn't earn it yet. So unworthiness is never really loud. It's this quiet hum of never enough. and it runs in the background. And sometimes you're not even aware of it. And then wound two is fear of visibility. So this one, um, we don't really think about it when we hit that financial ceiling because we don't realize that if you have more money, you become more visible, you make different changes, choices, you show up differently, and people in your life may not like who you are since you've changed your personality. You're not familiar anymore. And so what happens is your subconscious tries to keep you small, not out of laziness, but out of loyalty, because you're loyal to the relationships, to the identity that you had, that these people knew you as. And so we want, this is keeping you playing small. So Dr. Valerie Young, she did a lot of research on imposter syndrome. And what she found out, I thought was quite interesting, is really achieving women, high achieving women, they don't have fair failure, can't even say the word, or fear of success. They have fear of isolation that the success would bring them. It's more of a loneliness, like they're not going to have any friends or family. And then the third wound is receiving as debt. So a lot of times you'll be given a gift and you think to yourself, oh, I got to, get them something back. For instance, a really good example is your girlfriend and you go out to lunch and she buys you lunch. Then you feel obligated the next time you go out, oh, I need to buy her lunch. So this wound typically comes from childhood where the dynamics was love was conditional and or gifts came with strings with them and generosity was a form of control. So in my childhood, gifts came with strings. Like my mom would give me something, and then there'd always be something I had to do with this gift. For example, as an adult, she tried to give me some dishes, and I looked at them and thought, oh, everyday dishes. And she goes, no, these are fancy dishes. You have them at a dinner party. And they weren't even gold trimmed china. They were just regular dishes. And I told her, no, I would use them every day. And she goes, well, then you can't have them. And she gave them to my sister, who used them as everyday dishes. Figure that one out. Anyhow, um, so this one you want to be careful of because it's about giving with strings attached or having an obligation. And what Hicks calls this is the inability to be in receptive mode because you're so busy giving, managing, or controlling, there's no space left to receive. And the universe is broadcasting abundance, but your antennas turn the wrong direction because you're like obligated. You're paying attention. You're counting how many times you owe that person lunch or whatever it is. So let's talk about what the healing receiving muscle actually looks like. And it's not about becoming passive and sitting back and waiting for the universe to drop money in your lap. It's about being open while you take action and taking movement while you're open for this good to come in. So for an example, somebody says, "Oh, you look beautiful today." You let it land instead of having it bounce off. So you would go, "Oh, thank you very much," compared to, "Oh, this old thing, I've had it for years, but thanks." See the difference in the energy? So we want to take in our compliments, our good, instead of letting them bounce. So our brain, a neuroscientist said, our brain is wired to hold on to negative experiences like Velcro and let the positive ones slide off like Teflon. And researchers show that it takes conscious, deliberate, active staying with a positive experience for at least 15 seconds, 15 to 30 seconds before it starts forming a new neural pathway. And Hicks says you have to hold a positive emotion for 17 seconds. So next time you're celebrating a win, something exciting happens, just don't have that and go, okay, thanks. Hold that emotion for at least 17 seconds or 20, and then let it go into your cells, because what we're doing is we're letting our nervous system register, oh, this is real, this is safe, this is how I'm expanding. And let that be a sign to let your energy field grow and expand and be more familiar with a bigger container. And so when we're talking about containers, we can do it as a form of our hands. So imagine you have two hands, and one is closed fist, and this is protecting, controlling, white knuckling it. It's closed. You can't receive anything when the hand is shut. It can hit, it runs right off, right? Well, on the other hand, you're open, you're relaxed, you're receptive, your mind is calm, your body is peaceful. You're in the state of open and receptive. And money can come in, it can land, it can also fall out, but you're still open and receptive to keeping your good. Because the universe is always giving, it's always flowing. But one thing I have learned is the universe takes action after you do. It will never take action first. You have to take the action and then it follows suit. So if you're closed off, practice being open and the universe will be more open. And then when you're open, we have the law of circulation, meaning you're flowing, you're giving. It's a dance, right? Because abundance isn't fixed. It's a living, moving, breathing current. It's like a river. It's flowing to you. So you cannot give from a closed fist. And receiving and giving are not opposites, but they're the same movement, like inhale, exhale from your breath. You've spent your whole life exhaling, which would be giving, pouring out. Well, if that's the case, then your system is deprived. So it's time to inhale and allow and be peaceful and calm in the receptive mode. So this week, practice um, re receiving. So let's talk about receiving inventory because there's three parts to it. And we're going to bring this into the more tangible so you can actually take some action steps this week. So one, notice every act of kindness of receiving this week. It could be a compliment, somebody could open the door for you, pick up the tab at lunch, offer to help you. It comes in all different ways. A beautiful um, cloud scene, the sun shining just right on a leaf. There's many ways there's beauty in the world. And the idea is to be open and allow it and notice it. And you could even say, oh, wow, look how pretty the sun is lighting up that tree today. So you want to name it. That brings you into consciousness. And then tell yourself, I'm so grateful to be able to receive this and let it land because what we're doing is we're expanding and we're training our brain. It's okay to receive. And so the second step of receiving is at the end of the day, reflect and ask yourself, what did I receive today? And then just be aware of all the wonderful things that happened. And you could make a little note of it and just ponder and go, wow, that car let me in the freeway. That was so generous of that person. I'm so grateful. Somebody opened the door. Yay. Oh, I got an unexpected client. Yay. Somebody complimented me. Yay. Right? And remember to hold the feeling for 17, 20 seconds because we're expanding this little container and we're pushing out the familiar. We're teaching our body to hold more familiar energy. And then the third is um, ask. You know, you could ask for help. You could tell somebody something that you normally wouldn't tell them, like, I normally would do this on my own, but I'd like a little help with this. Or order something on the menu that you really want, not because it's chicken and it's in your price range. You might want the shrimp and it's $2 more or five, right? Or let somebody pay without offering to split the bill. So this is about giving yourself permission to have what you want. And because the universe isn't withholding from you, you're withholding from yourself. The current's always been flowing. There's been abundance always in, around, and through you. But is your fist closed or are you open to receiving? And it's just about enjoying what you have. So, this week, practice receiving in those small moments. Enjoy having a good time with your friends and be open to your good in the world. And have fun, and we'll see you in the community.